Earth signs, and welcome to your elemental Soulscope for Taurus season. In addition to Eclipse season, in addition to Mercury retrograde season, there is a lot going on. And for my Earth signs, my Taurus signs specifically, happy birthday to you all. Today we're going to be pulling from two different oracle decks. The decks that I decided to pull from today are the self-care oracle in addition to the power of surrendering. There is just so much that we are surrendering, that we are releasing, that we are letting go of. And I want to ensure that y'all, Earth signs, have guidance about what it is that y'all should be releasing. And because there is so much shadow work that is being done, so much healing that's being done, I also want to give y'all some tools for self-care so that you can care for yourself during this season of release. I usually have cards already pulled, but today I decided that I was going to do something differently in that I'm going to be pulling the cards live with you all today. So as of right now, I'm just calling in our guides, calling in my guides, calling in the guides of Earth signs, grounding myself into that energy. And let's see what your guides have to say here today. So card flipped over, a card's there. We're going to do one more here with the power of surrender. Okay, three beautiful cards here. First card that flipped over as I was shuffling was surrender your fear of intimacy. And it says you are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that's stopping you from opening your heart. So we start off again with something super aligned with the season, right? We're doing all of this releasing and all of this internal work right now, which is absolutely amazing. But in doing so and revisiting those past pains, those old stories, really, taking the time to reflect, sometimes in this time of reflecting, we get really critical of ourselves. So this card is really a reminder of how can you be compassionate to yourself, kind to yourself, let in more love. And that means letting in love for yourself so that you can then go out and give more love, right? But as of right now, let's be in this space of receiving, which means that we then have to keep our heart open in order for us to receive that, right? Intimacy, I think sometimes when we think of intimacy, we always think of this feeling of sex, right? Of intimacy meaning physical sex. And when we speak about intimacy in the Synchronized Souls community, we're really speaking about this ability for you to let your inner child out, for you to let your inner parts out, and for you to make them feel free and safe and seen and heard. So who around you, what souls, what situations does that feeling for you, right? In addition to that, how can you then allow yourself to be a little bit more open to that possibility, right? Open to the possibility that you can open yourself up to things that are better in alignment with you. I thought we had 3 cards for y'all, but we actually have 4. There was a card hiding behind. So the first card that came up, or the second card, was surrender your need to always be right, which then says give others the gift of letting them be right, be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. Right? How can you be mindful of the fact that you don't always have to be right? One of the things that we're doing throughout this season is being in a place of observing and being in a state of non-attachment, right? Of being in this place of detachment. How can you allow yourself to detach? How can you allow yourself to be in this space of really allowing yourself to allow other people to be right? You know what it is that you believe. You don't need to force your beliefs, your thoughts, your habits into other people. That's for them to figure out on their own. We actually pair that, right, with surrender negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thinking surface, say a quick thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. So if we're pairing this with your need to always be right, you're thinking that you are right and you know how to go about healing, how to, navigate the situation, maybe how to give advice that's going to allow them to be a little bit, allow them to navigate their life in an easier route. But if they are not open to hearing what it is that you have to say right now, it's not for you to continue to shove something down their throat, right? It's for you to just allow yourself to let go of that negative thought pattern that you have to be the one to introduce this notion to them. Right? You've planted the seed, allow the seed to take bloom, and allow yourself to thank yourself, right, for the doubts or the fears that are coming up so that they can do that for themselves, or so that you can do that for yourselves if we're speaking about you, right? Your negative thought patterns, the way that you feel like you always need to be right, right? So really just interpreting that again as that resonates with you. Then the last card for our 4-card spread for y'all, earth signs, we have surrender to prayer. Right? Give yourself over completely to prayer. And when you pray from your heart, you will be heard through the universe, and the answers and support will arrive, right? So again, going back into this space of your heart space for y'all, this is again birthday season for Taurus, right? In the space of celebration and earth signs, it feels like collectively we're going through this season of change, right? So with all of the fears, negative thought patterns, you wanting to be right in how things are going to play out, how can you allow yourself the possibility of just surrendering everything over to the universe and remind yourself that you don't know everything that is in store for you in your blueprint, and that is okay, right? That is not something for us to be scared of, but rather something for us to embrace, because it means that we have lots of possibilities ahead of us. The thing also about prayer that we speak about in the Synchronized Souls Inc. community is really acknowledging that when we live our lives intentionally, when we live our lives with mindfully, when we live our lives in this state of 5D, right, which again is not a place but rather an energy, what happens is that we are constantly living our lives, and our daily motions become prayer, right? So how can we also be in that constant state of devotion for y'all, which means being mindful of what you're saying, how you're doing, the way that you're interacting with other souls, and really grounding ourselves in that feeling of prayer, right? In that feeling of giving mercy. And again, mercy is a little bit different from forgiveness. Forgiveness is, again, something we do for ourselves so that we can move on. Mercy is something that we do for others, right? Sometimes we have to have mercy on other people and acknowledge that they themselves do not know better, right? So how can we, again, rise above? We'll go quickly into some self-care oracle cards to see how you can take care of yourself during this season of change and transition for y'all. We have one card that completely flew out and a second card that fell out for y'all too. So the first card that we have for y'all is deep breathing. Okay, so just gonna show that to y'all. Deep breathing. And the affirmation associated with this card is, when I stop to take care of my deep breath, I clear my mind and lead with love. Are we recognizing a theme here? Your guides are asking you to open up so that you can lead with love, right? That means really allowing yourself to be in this space of allowing yourself to be in the space of being present. And that means constantly being present. The beautiful thing about deep breathing, about breathing in itself, is that it brings us back to our body, right? It brings us back to self, and it allows you to then have a conscious choice of how you want to respond instead of reacting to situations. So beautiful card, especially with the cards that we've been receiving for y'all. And then the second card for y'all was health checkup. Just going to read the affirmation. It says, I am healthy in my mind, body, and spirit. I am healthy in my mind, body, and spirit. I want to remind y'all that even, with doctors in the Western culture, that there are holistic doctors. So if there are some of y'all earth signs who've been avoiding the doctors, avoiding the health checkups or the dentist appointments or the things that that you need to do to care for your physical body, this is a reminder for y'all to go out and take care of those things, right? That there are, of course, different methods of healing and modality, but you do want to ensure that even when we're speaking about Western medicine, that we're finding somebody who still leads or navigates it with that Eastern mindset, right? So acknowledging that we can open ourselves up to possibilities. It doesn't need to be one or the other. You can find a holistic healing team that feels really good for you. And if you've been maybe succumbing to some of those negative thought patterns that we've been speaking about earlier, or finding the need to always be right so that you're not going out and proving yourself wrong, then these are things that might be limiting you even if you are not conscious of that. So with all of that said, I'm going to say, right, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you're looking for some additional information outside of the information that was just given, if you're looking for some personalized information, some personalized guidance, I do have a Mercury retrograde spread that is currently happening right now that is on sale. In addition to, in May, I'm going to be doing a candle ritual that's all about revealing hidden beliefs, revealing those lies and those hidden truths. So if you're navigating situations right now and you don't really know how to move, you don't really know where to go, you want some clarity, that full moon in Scorpio, I'm going to be using that energy to be presenting the truth to you all. Right? So that's what I gotta say. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you all so much for being here in this space. Thank you for watching this video in full. Thank you for being just here and accepting me for who I am. I really just have so much love and appreciation and so much gratitude for y'all. So thank you. And I really hope that these messages have resonated with you. If not, take what resonates and leave the rest. Bye, Earth babies.